Hello to our ever-growing YouTube family. Today we're excited to bring you the story of a man and his son and how a refurbishment of a Ford Model A coupe into a crowd-pleasing street rod brought them closer together. We'll let the car's proud owner, Charlie Morris, fill you in on all the details. Now, let's go for a ride.
My name is Charlie Morris. I used to take my sons to the Hot August nights in Reno where we would see 10 to 12,000 cars, and when they were younger, and I kind of fell in love with the 30 to 36 Ford cars. So at my son's wedding, I met a friend of his, and I says, Ronnie, you gotta find me a car that my son and I can build. A few months later, he found us a 1930 5-window Model A coupe with 94,000 miles on it. My son went and looked at it, called me, says, Dad, you've got to buy this car. We can fix it up. So Darin, my son, said, Dad, you have to come to California, because I was living in Colorado at the time. How many people get the opportunity to drive an original 1930 Ford? So I flew out to California and spent the weekend with my son. The first day we drove it because it had 94,000 miles on it. It ran. It was a total hoot to drive it. And I don't know how to start it because I didn't understand all the spark gap and all that stuff, but my son knows how to do that. His name is Darin Morris, and he has a fabricating shop in San Jose. And he decided a few months before that since we'd been to so many car shows, and my love of it, and him being a metal fabricator, that he's got to help me build a car. And so that's what we decided. We bought the car, we drove it around, and one Friday, the next day we pulled it into the garage, tore it down completely, engine out of it, body off of it, every piece off the thing. We only had one bolt that we had to cut that was too rusted. This car original owners had it, family had it in Oregon until 1999, and it changed hands twice, and so we're actually the fourth owners of this vehicle, and it really had no rust in it. But we wanted to make a hot rod out of it, and so, like I said, we took it all apart, and I left to go back to Colorado, and so my son started working on it. So he took the original frame, boxed it in to make it sturdier, and actually did some things to the front and the back end of it, and then started building it from there. In different weekends, I would come out to California, and we would work on the car. I didn't know if we would ever finish it, but being able to spend time with my son for the weekend, just the two of us in the garage, and I learned more from him than I probably taught him. I know I learned more from him about cars. The time I spent with my son was just incredible, and I wouldn't trade that for trade it for the world. About 18 months ago, he had been seeing the car sitting in his shop, and finally says, Dad, we got to finish this thing. We're not that far off. So we started working on it. I would go to California. We would spend a few weeks there because we had just retired. I would work in his metal fabricating shop during the day. On the weekends, we would go out and work on the car. So it took us 10 years to complete the car. We did everything but the paint and the upholstery. The upholstery was done by Sid Chafer out of San Jose. And we took the car to Sid. He says, what do we want? We said, Sid, you've been doing this for so many years that you know what it means. We want this car. Our total vision, my son's vision, was the fact that it needed to be something that was timeless. The car does go to my son, and then I have two grandsons, and they right now are 4 and 7, because we built the finished car in my son's garage. They call the car as Papa's car. And sometimes when we would be working on there, they'd be putting their Legos there, or they'd be under the car with us, asking questions, what's about it. So, I mean, it's created great memories for me. I think great memories for my grandsons. And so we think we've built it so it's just a totally timeless car. And we had it shipped to Arizona, where we live now. We do have a private garage for it that's dedicated to it, with some pieces from the original car. We have the original radiator surround. We have the original headlights. We have some of the wood that came out of the top before we had the vinyl put on it. We have the wood blocks that are in between the body and the frame. We have those. We have the original crank they used to crank it up. We have the original handles, and I've got a couple of big bags of the original rusted bolts. And even the running boards, it's got, running boards have stainless steel around the rubber edges. I spent 12 hours on each one of those running boards on the stainless steel, polishing out every scratch, every ding. We put a 32 gas tank because we didn't want the front gas tank. We wanted it in the rear. So in the rear, you wanted to put some kind of panels to hide the frame as it comes out to hold the gas tank. Well, most of them, if you notice to the side where the fender is, there's a little bit of an indentation there. My son Darin didn't like the looks of that curve, so he fabricated so it comes out straight. And that's something that's just different. It's got very unique taillights. They're actually LED, but they are from a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The engine on the car is a Ford crate motor engine. It's a 302, but it's a stroker 347 with 330 horsepower. So one of the other comments we get about the car from, whether it's young kids, it's ladies, it's guys, is, oh my God, I love the color. What color is that? Well, I finally called my son Darin. I go, Darin, so what color is it? And he says, it's royal denim. I said, okay, so if they go to Sherwin-Williams and ask for royal denim, will they get that color? He goes, probably not, because he said, I went to the auto body shop and Eric gave me the chips and we looked at blue and I started with Washington blue. So from there I kept having him add grays, reds, and some blacks to it. And after about 10 times, I got the color. So it is a very custom color. Again, we wanted it to be a timeless color. And so we really can't tell people what color it is. Some people, I have told them it is royal denim. 15-inch wheels, they're steely wheels. The tires on the car on the rear are Goodyear radials, a P230 70R15s. The fronts are Goodyear Advantage TAs, 185 60R15s. But it's just been a thrill, and I've taken it to some car shows now. Our really first car show was to the Good Guys show in Scottsdale, which is one of their national shows. There were around 3,500 cars. So then I called a friend in California that has been a hot rodder for a number of years and has built lots of hot rods. And I says, okay, Ronnie, where should I park the car tomorrow? He says, Charlie, you got to park in Builder's Choice. I go, what's Builder's Choice? He says, just come early in the morning. They'll have a special section for you to park. So I got there really early. I was like the third car in there. I parked. I happened to be on the end of the aisle and parked my car. So most of Saturday morning, people coming by looking at that car, plus a lot of other cars. It's Saturday afternoon, and I had met a couple of gentlemen that had driven their cars from Texas. And what very nice gentlemen. And they happened to be staying at the hotel next to us, and they came over and saw the car and we chatted. And later I called them my good luck charms, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So while I'm talking to them, and one of the guys, the tech guys from Texas, had worked for Good Guys. So in the middle of the conversation, because I had my back to the front of the cars as I'm talking to these two guys from Texas, he says, Charlie, you got to go talk to these guys. And I turn around, and there's 4 people from Good Guys with Good Guys shirts on and a clipboard and such. And one of the Good Guys said, I'm giving you a sticker. I thought, oh God, I got a ticket. I wasn't supposed to park here or something. And I says, okay. He says, oh, this car is fabulous. You're in the top 10 builder's choice. Well, I was just beyond myself and started blubbering, and I don't have any idea what I told them. And so I called my wife, Carol. I called my son, Darin. I called my daughter-in-law, and I'm so thankful for her because on the weekends where I were there, she allowed my son to help work on the car versus spending time with her and my 2 grandsons. So big shout out to her and my wife, because she would take care of some of the grandkids sometimes when we were working on the car. That afternoon, we got to drive in front of the grandstand, get awarded a trophy, and it's just been spectacular. And we've done some other car shows, got some other awards, but the biggest part of it is driving the car. We've just got about 1,000 miles on it now. We've been to a number of other shows. Incredible people out there at car shows, just incredible people. And so I called my son and talked to him about getting a trailer. He says, Dad, we build this to be a driver, drive it. If you get some dings in it, you get some dings in it. Don't worry about it, enjoy it. And I called him on Sunday night and I said, I just want to thank you for your vision of having it. And he said, I'm so thrilled you're going to drive it. I'm not going to let you buy a trailer. So it's just been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to meeting more car people and going to more car shows.
Thanks, Charlie, for taking the time to share your car's story. We know our subscribers and viewers love it. So what do you guys think? Please comment and be sure to like the video. Be sure to check out next week's video of an all-original 1955 Chevrolet two-door sedan that was recently purchased by an enthusiast who will be familiar to some of our earliest viewers, Bill Oxford, who was featured along with his 68 Camaro in episode number 14. The originality of this car is simply amazing, and considering how popular these cars are and have been for so many years, it's astounding that it has remained untouched since leaving the dealership so long ago. Don't miss this one. Until next Sunday, please remember, be careful out there.